First of all, I want to thank all of our panelists tonight who have contributed to the discussion. We had long discussions today. The discussions tonight were obviously very, very moving, and I think will be the lasting impression that's left on all of us. I believe that we've all benefited in different ways of the discussion over the last couple hours. We've been able to hear the stories, and these are really traumatic stories. I got a chance to talk to all three of the panelists beforehand, and we've been able to also gain a small amount of appreciation for their concerns, and the story doesn't end. The story doesn't end when a boat capsized. These, as you said so eloquently, these are continuing stories. They're continuing nightmares. And I think part of what our obligation is to do all that we can to try to put an end, to try to bring some closure to these nightmares. We got a chance earlier today to hear proposals of some of the policymakers. Clearly, the discussions today have facilitated a better understanding of the challenges that we all face and have illuminated some of the solutions out there. This is the start of a process, and it's complicated, it's complex, it's going to take a while. It's important, I think, to realize that none of this has taken place in a vacuum. Many of you were present this morning when we had representatives from Greece, Cyprus, Malta, and Italy, as well as other countries and organizations, when we started to develop our work plan on a joint process to address the issue of missing migrants in the Mediterranean region. In the afternoon, many of you were present at the roundtable we had of technical experts and others, also at the Villa Massimo, and we began to explore some of the key aspects of this joint process. And, excuse me, I think the discussion over the last couple hours has put a real cap on what this is all about. I was a diplomat for 3 decades. I get the policy stuff. This is about human beings. And any of us could have been in their situations. And I think we have to, we have to look at it that way. These are human beings. And as you said, we all have the right, the basic right to life. And that right has been taken away from their families. And that's what this is really all about. Yes, the issue of the missing migrants is complex. I think today's meetings have highlighted a rather simple underlying fact, and that is if the countries involved, and I'm talking not just about the receiving countries, but the sending countries as well, because we had representatives from Tunisia and Libya this morning, if they enhance their sharing of information and coordinate the responses to the migrant crisis, there's a real chance of reducing suffering. I didn't say eliminating, but I said reducing suffering of what we're witnessing on a daily basis in the Mediterranean. ICMP, our organization, is completely focused on finding solutions. And in the course of today's exchanges of analysis and ideas, I think we all came up with a much clearer sense that our partners, and this is a partnership, no one organization or one country, and I think our colleague from the Italian Foreign Ministry said it well, this has got to be a shared responsibility. We know the challenge is huge. We believe that we can help if we seriously take this as a shared responsibility. We can lift some of the burden from the countries that are most directly impacted, in this case, Greece and Italy in particular. By developing practical responses and building on the work that ICMP has done elsewhere around the world, building on the work that we started here. We actually started at the UN Security Council in January 2016 when we made an attempt to focus a lot of attention on the missing migrants in the Mediterranean. Since then, we've been working with other organizations, with other governments. The events of today, I think, put a real capstone on this effort, but again, I want to say this is the start of a very, very long road. Let me conclude by obviously thanking our Swiss host and the ambassador who's been so kind to facilitate this exchange. I also want to thank the interpreters who've been working nonstop and doing a terrific job. They've broken down language barriers. I hope we'll be able to match what they've done in breaking down language barriers by breaking down some of the administrative and political barriers that are out there, so we can get all of the parties, all of the forces, governments, international organizations, NGOs, everyone who's got a role in this, working together to try to begin to address this problem. And so the next time we are all together, we can start talking about progress and results. Thank you so very much.